Good morning, all my fellow anglers out there on YouTube. This is Mark with Waist Deep Wade Fishing, Southwest Florida. Well, we had a tough week of fishing, to say the least. But overall, we did manage to get a couple of fish. Nothing of a huge size, but nevertheless, a tight line is a tight line. So, today, we have a discussion about redfish, my favorite fish to catch, my favorite fish to stalk, and I love catching them on all different types of lures in skinny water. But we're going to talk about something that's coming up here shortly, within the next couple of weeks. I'd say 3 to 6 weeks. We're gonna start getting into it, and a lot of people have to understand that they're going to have to change their tactics and their game plan if they're fishing on the grass flats at this time of the year. So without further ado, I'm going to bring it into you. How do we catch redfish during the winter migration on the Gulf Coast? That's our subject for today. There's tons of tactics, and over the last 20 years, I've seen numbers of captains do it a certain way. One captain will do it this way, one captain will do it that way. A lot of people, especially guides, will basically move over to cut bait, blue crab, shrimp. Of course, everyone knowing me, that is sacrilege to what I do. I don't use live bait. Never did, never will. I'm a technical fisherman. People hire me to go out and throw lures and learn different varieties of lures in different, aspects of inshore fishing. So, let's talk about it. How do we catch these fish when these redfish are migrating over to the Gulf? Well, let's talk about the migration and why that happens. Okay, right now over in Texas, you're going to start seeing the migration in northern Florida, Mosquito Lagoon area. They're going to start to spawn, and they're going to start piling up. Water's cooling down. It's triggering them. Now, right here in Southwest Florida, we're not at that moment yet. Texas, you have, at this time, you have a large number of crustaceans, working. You've got the shrimp run, and that's where a lot of the big bull redfish, are going to be. And I'm talking the migration. I'm not talking about 100, 1,000. I'm talking 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 redfish. Schools of 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000 fish coming across the Gulf to the Florida side. And why are they going to do it? Crustaceans. They're hungry. The West Coast has shallow flats. It has warmer water, cleaner water, and we'll go into that in a moment. So, how do we catch them, and why are they here? So, they're going to start migrating over from Texas, the other side of the Gulf, right around the end of October and into November. And then from November till May, we will have I don't even know how to put words into it, but as far as trends go, and over the last 10 years, it really hasn't changed. We will have monster bull redfish on these grass flats, and the best way to get them is wade fishing, because you can walk amongst them. If you're going there with a kayak, you'll spook them. If you're going there with a flats boat, even poling quietly, the whole slap can spook them off. But if you walk in wade fishing, and you walk in the right areas that I know, we can walk out exactly to where they're hanging out and pick them off one by one. So the reason they're going to be in these grass flats is, there's 4 different reasons why. A, crystal clear water. Large amounts of grass flats with potholes. On the West Coast, especially in Southwest Florida, we are known for having some of the best estuaries and the healthiest grass flats on the West Coast. And now that our water has cleared up, you know, we had a little bit of red tide on the outside, but not too bad on the inside over here by me. We're going to see a number of massive schools of redfish that are going to be coming up and down this flat, working it for shrimp, for crab, and for mullet. Those are the three reasons. I'll repeat them: for shrimp, for crab, blue crab, and mullet. Now, one of the flats you want to look for is a flat that's going to have moving water. Okay, and again, you know, preferably if you can find a grass flat that's near a pass, that's where you want to be. And you want to find, you know, on that flat, potholes that are in skinny water. Okay, now this, you know, certain flats that I go to, I know that there's potholes, but they're in deeper water. Well, in the summer that's fine, but in the wintertime, those redfish are going to come up. They're going to come up looking to eat. They're going to be on their spawn, and they're going to look up to heat up their body. They're cold-blooded. So in the wintertime, once that water drops, you know, a certain degree, and that's a whole nother video that we're going to talk about, but once it gets past that certain degree, that is going to trigger them to feed, to spawn, and to heat up. So with those three factors being known, okay, I'm going to show you exactly what type of baits I'm going to be throwing out there at that time of year. Now I'm going to move away from the smaller baits, although they work. And if I'm going to use a smaller bait that is going to mimic a shrimp, I'm going to show you what I'd probably throw. I'd throw a DOA, cow shad. I just don't have one in front of me right now. I'm definitely going to be throwing a down south lure. Just like that, I may nip off the top and then bounce this in the potholes. But I love that action of the tail when I match it up with a Texas Rattler Gold Eye. Of course, these have the loudest rattles. This hook actually, you know, it acts like a tuning fork. So this particular jig, okay, or jig heads, this style, this is 1/8 of an ounce, and when I'm popping this thing and you hear that click, 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 well, that is going to mimic a wounded shrimp or a fleeing shrimp. And this lure, this jig head will call them in. It's 100% effective. I stand by it and I back it 100%. The best jig heads on the market. Not only do they call the fish in, but they just emit such a loud click that travels through the water because, you know, this particular hook, it acts like a tuning fork. It amplifies the sound. And the Gold Eyes, well, if you're working through the grass flat and you've got some silty water, you know, we do get some wind here in the wintertime, these Gold Eyes will reflect light, okay? The fish will be able to see these. Not only will they be able to see them, but they will be able to hear them. So that would be one type of setup I would use right there. The next, and of course, you know me, you've watched my videos, you know I'm a spoon fanatic. A lot of people don't like to throw jewelry. I am the complete opposite. Spoons are one of the most effective shallow water grass flats baits that you can throw, but make sure you get them weedless. And of course, the gold spoon is going to be number one. Unfortunately, I've got some more spoons coming, some custom spoons that I'm going to do a review on. There's a couple other ones I'm going to throw. I just don't have them in my possession right now. They're actually on their way here, but we'll do a video about them and I'll show those off as well. The next thing, it's cold, okay? During the fall, going into the winter, it's cold. The fish are not as active as they would be in the summertime. So you're going to want to throw something that is worth their while to chase. So in other words, if, you know, in the summertime when they're more active, they'll be more they'll have more energy, so they'll hunt more actively. In the wintertime, they're going to slow it down. So they're going to wait till there's a meal that looks like it may be wounded, that it's going to fill them up. So I would switch over. You know, in the summertime, I'm throwing a lot of spooks. You see the videos. like these. These are some of my favorite colors to use on the flat. But I'm gonna go away from these in the winter. And I'm gonna be going more towards high pitch to call these fish in from deep down the flat. I'm gonna go with the bone she-dog, high pitch. And this looks exactly like about the size of the finger mullet that are gonna be on that flat that they're also gonna be eating. They're gonna be chasing blue crab, they're gonna be chasing shrimp, but they're also gonna be chasing high calorie meals, and that's the bait you're gonna throw. That bone she-dog right here with that high pitch, there's really not too many baits that can beat that. And if that one kind of isn't working for you, maybe too big, sometimes that happens as well. I always bring an extra sheet pup that I customized myself. It had a chrome bottom. I took the chrome off, kept the chartreuse top and the orange bottom, but then again, smaller profile but same pitch. Those are just some of the baits. I'm going to go into another video. I'm not going to sit here and pull out everything, but those will be some of the baits that I would be using during the redfish migration across the Gulf. And again, keep in mind, there's a certain temperature that's going to trigger it, and that's going to be a whole different video. We're going to get into that next time. But get ready, guys, especially all my fellow anglers here on the Gulf Coast, on the west side. I'm giving you the tools and the information that you're going to need. And last but not least, I left the most important one out. Although it doesn't look like a crab, the color and the way I can mimic a fleeing crab with a jig head, this is a must-have, and I suggest you pick up a pack. This is Chicken Boy Lures. I am a huge fan of the blues and purples in the wintertime. And this particular lure right here, last year did very, very well mimicking a little baby blue crab. Now it doesn't look like a crab, but that bluish tint, and as you're popping it through the, on the potholes or dragging it on the floor, it could resemble a crab. And the redfish eat it. So, if you're eating it, I'm throwing it. So again, if you get a chance, you can check out Chicken Boy Lures, Aqua Dream Spoons. All that information is linked in the descriptions in my video, which then again you can click on and then go ahead and put it in order for yourself and try these lures out. They work. I would never put anything out on my YouTube channel that I don't personally use myself. So with that being said, I hope that helped everybody out there understand about the migration that's coming with the redfish and why they're so effective. Make sure you get out there, get yourself some Texas Rattler GoldenEye jig heads, 1/8 of an ounce to 1/4 ounce. You don't need any bigger for some grass flats. And when you're out there, remember, in the wintertime, it's cold. These fish are not as active as in the summer. Slow your game down. Remember, they're there for crustaceans. That's their primary reason why they're there. They want that shrimp and they want that crab. Okay? Also, if they're not hitting on the shrimp and crabs, sometimes that happens, be prepared to throw out a bigger top water that mimics, a finger mullet, anywhere from 4 inches to 6 inches, and you'll be surprised when you see a redfish come up and grab it. Okay, the less work the fish has to do to get a higher calorie meal, he's going to take that shot. That's an advantage for him. Less work, bigger meal, more energy. All right, guys, I hope that works out for you. Till the next video, this is Mark with Waist Deep Wade Fishing Southwest Florida. I love you all. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. I'll see you guys in the next video.